Prime Minister Narendra Modi recently crossed a major political milestone, overtaking Jawaharlal Nehru as India's longest-serving democratically elected Prime Minister. But in the backdrop, there is a sharper question being asked from within the political commentary space. Does Modi now need a Nehru-style organizational reset? The idea behind it is that the government may be overloaded, the party machinery may need fresh energy, and a Kamraj Plan like shake-up could send senior minister back to strengthen the organization. So is this the moment for Prime Minister Modi to bite the bullet? Joining us live is senior journalist, political commentator and member Prime Minister's Museum and Library Society, A. Surya Prakash. Thank you so much, sir. Let me come to the question straight away.
Thank you.
Why does Prime Minister Modi now require a Kamaraj Plan?
I mean, actually, in his third term, he has completed 2 years. For example, if you look at his first Council of Ministers, which was formed in 2014, and then there was a cabinet reshuffle and changes and so on, and then some years later, in the second term, there was a major reshuffle in 2021. So actually, I was just looking at this. Among 2014 cabinet ministers, very few have survived among the cabinet ministers, I'm saying. And they include Rajnath Singh and Nitin Gadkari. Among ministers of state in 2014, Dharmendra Pradhan, Nirmala Sitharaman, Piyush Goyal, and Jitendra Singh. Later, of course, they got elevated. Then in 2019, Nirmala Sitharaman, Dharmendra Pradhan became full cabinet ministers later. And then in 2021, there was a major reshuffle. Ashwini Vaishnav was brought in. Prakash Javadekar, Ravi Shankar Prasad, several others were dropped.
Yes, correct.
Now,
correct.
As I have seen, I mean, Modi ji is not like Indira Gandhi or Rajiv Gandhi. He gives his ministers a long tenure, actually. In fact, I must tell you that it shocked everybody when I looked at the cabinet reshuffles of Rajiv Gandhi. After 2.5 years of Rajiv Gandhi in government, that is 32 months, he had done 22 reshuffles. When I put that out in the non-internet age, it took several weeks to collate that. People were quite shocked. In fact, his HRD minister, defense minister, the external affairs minister in Rajiv Gandhi's cabinet had a tenure of 4 or 5 months, which was absolutely atrocious. So Modi ji is different. He gives long tenure for his ministers. Having said that, I will also say that, long years in government it takes its toll in terms of your energy levels, ideas. Many people can run out of ideas, isn't it? And secondly, don't forget, 2029 is going to be a major test for the Bharatiya Janata Party and Prime Minister Modi. He needs to induct fresh blood in and actually, prepare the party for 2029 and onwards.
Sir, do you think that for the first time BJP in its entire history after 1980 is unique?
Okay, that is why when Kamraj proposed the plan, he said, first resignation is mine. They said, nothing doing, you be at the helm. We have to reorganize it below that. So same thing applies to Modi ji. He has, in my view, he is one of the greatest prime ministers we have had. Let's have no confusion about it. You take any sector, you just look at 12 years of Narendra Modi and what this government has achieved.
Mr. Surya Prakash, there is no doubt about the fact that the Prime Minister Modi has delivered in governance. But there is an issue, there's an issue I have when I read your article. You say that the BJP has expanded. You say that the BJP has done very well. But you also say there's a sense of fatigue. There's a sense of fatigue. If the party has expanded, if it has won elections, what is this fatigue you are talking about? Can you put your finger on it?
it's difficult to say why I have that sense. But it's not just me. There are many people, both within the party and forget those outside the party, within the party and well-wishers of the party feel that there is need for injection of fresh blood. There is need to prepare for 2029. I do feel that the Bharatiya Janata Party and being at the helm at the national level is very, very critical for this country. Look at defense, look at our foreign affairs, look at every sector. It is very, very critical compared to what we have achieved over the last 12 years. So therefore, if there is need for this kind of transition, then this is the moment to do it. And Modi ji is halfway through his third term, and this is a good time to do it.
Let me ask you on the lighter side, when you use the word fresh blood, I mean to say how much fresh talent would Bharatiya Janata Party require? Because all the talents are laterally entering BJP. Look at TMC, look at Aam Aadmi Party, look at Uddhav Bala Saheb, Thackeray, Shiv Sena. Everyone seems to be joining BJP. So how much fresh blood would you require?
No. But that apart, I will say when I talk of fresh blood, I'm talking of fresh blood within the Bharatiya Janata Party itself. There are a lot of people who are very, very competent and this, that, and the other. It's better the party prepares for.
But what's your take, sir, on this issue of a lot of people without any ideological training joining BJP from left, right, and center? Please, plain speak from you.
No, I don't think they can very easily fit into the Bharatiya Janata Party because the Bharatiya Janata Party, in terms of ideology and so on and so forth, is quite distinct from the Nehruvian socialist parties. Many of these guys who are coming in come from that stock. So they will not very easily fit in. They all have to be put on, what do you call it? In terms of this thing, they have to be on a.
Most of them are regional dynasts, if I may put it bluntly.
Yeah. That is a truth in regard to our politics across parties. To some extent, Bharatiya Janata Party is free of it. For how long it will be, I do not know. But this dynasty culture from the district and state level to the national level is a humongous problem in Indian politics, and that does not really gel with our democratic traditions and democratic future. So, having said that, but the fact of the matter is, many of these inductions, you will have to put them on this thing, you will have to watch them for some time and see how they integrate. I think that's very important. And more important, all those who have been in the Bharatiya Janata Party all these years, worked for its success, and who are young and capable and competent, I think they need to be elevated and fitted in for the post 2029 Bharatiya Janata Party.
Okay.
They have to win the elections and build and form a strong government after that.
Tell me one thing. The two intertwined questions here.
Yes.
Is there a difference between the Bharatiya Janata Party of 1980s and 90s with Bharatiya Janata Party of today? What is that difference? Is there a cultural shift? I'm not talking about the broadening. It has become the biggest, largest party, most successful. I would say it has replaced the Congress as the main party of the Indian politics. That it has done that. It is the center of the politics. It has broken the Nehruvian consensus. I'm talking about the culture. Is there an indifference between how a party functioned then and how is party functioning now?
Yes, there is a difference because if you take the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government and the BJP of that time, 1998 to 2004, it was still driven. A lot of the engines were driven still by the Nehruvian brigade at that time. And Atalji, being Atalji, did not really push them out. Okay? So the Nehruvians still had a place in that government, in that this thing. Now let's cut to the Narendra Modi era. One of the biggest things, changes that have happened is, you see, our democracy, na, there is a civilizational reason for our democracy. It is our civilization. We have discussed this in an earlier program, if you remember.
I do. I do.
Democracy because of our civilization. If you see post 2014, this is what Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his government has been hammering, whether it's in dealing with other nations or within the country. The point that is being made, don't forget that we are a democracy and we have liberal views and we are extremely tolerant because of our civilizational traditions. And that is the main difference that you see between the Narendra Modi era and the Atal Bihari Vajpayee era. In the Vajpayee era, we were heavily dependent on coalition partners. There was great hesitation to say this. Not that Atalji or Advaniji were not aware of it. They were very much aware of it, and that is how they built that party. But the time was still not ripe for that. When Modi ji got a clear majority on his own, he could stand up and say, please take note of this. We have not become a democracy and we do not have all these democratic traditions and liberal values just like that. Our civilization commands that, and that is why he keeps talking about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam and so many other things. That is the main thing.
In 1980s and 1990s, 1980s when I was in school and 1990s when I was in college, and then subsequently I joined this profession, the three things BJP stuck its neck out for: Article 370,
Yeah,
Ram Temple,
yeah,
Uniform Civil Code of Law.
yes.
All of them are done. UCC is happening on its own in various states. There is
Yeah.
no 370, and you have a Ram Temple. What defines BJP's core agenda today?
BJP's core agenda right now, since we have crossed some of these hurdles, I will say the core agenda is development. You just look at Narendra Modi's scorecard over last 12 years. Simply phenomenal in every aspect. Can you imagine you had only 96 kilometers of expressways, in 2014, and now you have 3,600 kilometers. What are we talking about? Look at electricity, look at power supply, look at renewable energy. I mean, it's just a runaway success. Leaps and bounds. Some things, we have developed in geometric proportions. And then his commitment to the poor, not just saying Garibi Hatao. Like I covered Indira Gandhi's election campaign in 1971. Everywhere she would stand up and say, Garibi Hatao. Is it our job, poor people that we are, to hatao our Garibi? It was for the government to do it. Her government couldn't do it. Many Congress governments couldn't do it. Now look at Narendra Modi's campaigns, whether it's the LPG program, subsidized LPG, the drinking water, pipe drinking water to homes, or building houses for the poor, or any of these. Oh my God, 81 crore people getting subsidized or getting free rations.
Weakly dependent on one individual, that is Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Yes, one individual, possibly two individuals. Okay, one individual largely. Now, what has happened? You and I know, and we are all those in the media, etc., who track government seriously. We are aware that Mr. Modi has been doing the heavy lifting for so many other weightlifters. So actually, there is need for a set of people within the cabinet who come to the cabinet with their own ideas. I know that there are many ministers who follow the instructions from the PMO and do it quite diligently. That is fine. But it's a good cabinet, very efficient cabinet, when the ministers come with their own ideas and you see that being implemented. And that is exactly what is needed in a nation of 1,500 million people. And Modi ji, actually, these 12 years, in my view, phenomenal success of the Prime Minister. There is no Prime Minister who can match him in terms of, just look at social sector, his commitment, you know, to poverty alleviation, quality, improving the quality of life of poor people. It's simply phenomenal. So is the case with defense, telecom, digital India, railways, transport. I mean, the list is pretty huge.
No, I understand that, Mr. Prakash, but Kamraj Plan was
Yeah,
both organization and a power reset. It did not do
correct.
one thing. It did
Yeah.
multiple things for Jawaharlal Nehru. All the heavyweights went out. They were supposed to be doing different things. So, what prompted you to use the word Kamraj Plan?
No, the thing is, look at the Bharatiya Janata Party. It has 140 million registered primary members. It is the largest political party in the world. Let nobody have any doubt about it. Now, as compared to the Bharatiya Janata Party 10, 20 years ago, even when they were out of office, the energy levels, the activity of its general secretaries, this, that, and the other, I think there is a paucity of energy or the overall image of that party across the country. So that needs to be rejuvenated. Now, how do you do that? So that is how I speak of the Kamraj
But,
plan.
wh- but why do
What
you
happened?
but why do you say positive of energy when they are winning so many states? Then you can go to the Kamraj Plan.
No, no, 1 minute. The phenomenal success in Bengal. Okay. But where is the party in the south? Okay. Now, whatever the successes in states or the failures in states, that's not the point. In my personal view is the party needs to be rejuvenated. So there are very eminent senior people within the cabinet who could possibly take up this role. That is why I speak of the Kamraj plan. What happened in 1963 was, after the 1962 war, where we figured pretty badly vis-a-vis China, and the whole Nehru stock was down, and all that happened, and so they felt that something has to be done. Also, Nehru, I think, wanted Morarji Desai out. So anyway, this whether it was Biju Patnaik or Nehru, whoever thought of it, ultimately it was Kamraj who proposed it, and he was Chief Minister of Madras, and he said, "I will resign." And so all chief ministers must resign, all cabinet ministers must resign, and offer ourselves for party work. And then Kamraj became the president of the Indian National Congress. Many others were given these responsibilities, and Nehru accepted his resignation of 6 cabinet colleagues, including Lal Bahadur Shastri, Morarji Desai, and so on. Jagjeevan Ram, and then, of course, S.K. Patil, Gopal Reddy, and Sri Mali. These were the people whose resignations he accepted. Some of them were given some assignments in the party. But then Nehru passed away in May 1964, and so this whole Kamraj plan, this thing, went for a toss. But I do believe that some amount of reshuffle of responsibilities, more important, this is a general statement I'm making, irrespective of party. Long years in government disconnects ministers from the people. In fact, there is a murmur within the Bharatiya Janata Party itself that the ministers are disconnected from party cadres, party people who are prominent and active in the party. They feel that there is a disconnect as far as ministers are concerned. So, when you shift them to the party responsibilities, they will hit the ground again, and
Or,
the
or is
grime
it
and
because
dust
of the
of
fact that the
building the party.
burden of
Pardon?
getting the votes is only
Hmm.
with Prime Minister Narendra Modi?
Yes. So why not look at it this way? that some of these very prominent people who are in the cabinet, if we
Like,
were to give them party roles, to some extent, they would relieve the Prime Minister of that responsibility
like,
which he is shouldering.
like, like.
No, no, there are many of them. I don't want to take names now, but I will say that among the ministers, there are many who, on their own, have been very efficient and have performed excellently well. And I don't see why you should touch them. At the same time, if you do feel that is up to the Prime Minister, it is for his judgment, as to how people are performing in the cabinet. But there is a feeling that some amount of shifting from government to party may help. Also, more importantly, I'll just read this out to you.
But
Nehru
before you
told-
read that out, what I want to
Hmm,
ask you, sir, is that if you look at
yes.
the Prime Minister, if you
Hmm,
are doing okay, well, or if you are part of the scheme of things,
hmm,
bureaucrats and ministers, people close to him, have
hmm.
enjoyed long tenures.
Yes.
Whether he was in Gujarat or even in Delhi, look at National Security Advisor, such a
Yeah.
long tenure, so many bureaucrats who had retired, they have been given jobs, long tenure within the system of power. So,
Yes.
going by his nature, you summed him up very well. Unlike Rajiv Gandhi, who was firing things from 4 to 5 months, Prime Minister Modi gives a long rope.
Yes, I would never advocate the Rajiv Gandhi formula, having a defense minister for 4 or 5 months tenure. They're ridiculous. But Modi ji, I have found, despite all his stern exterior and all that, he's somewhere very soft inside. Even ministers who may not be spectacularly, efficient, he will keep them going. So it is just an idea from my side as to how you can rejuvenate the party, and I think that is very important, because where are you in the south, and what plans do you have for Uttar Pradesh, which is coming next year, and Gujarat and Uttarakhand and Punjab and Himachal Pradesh? What is the arrangements?
But Mr.
So for
Prakash,
that,
BJP sits
for
very
that
pretty in Uttar
you
Pradesh,
need a very
except that
efficient
Ram
party.
Janambhoomi Mandir controversy. I mean, if you look at it, there is no competition to BJP except from within in Uttar Pradesh.
Yes, there are issues there, and so that is for the for Mr. Modi and the leadership to sort that out. But more importantly, 2029. Actually, Modi ji has to prepare the ground for 2029 and bring in that fresh blood and new leadership. So when you do that, some of the seniors in government could probably shift to the party and organize the party more efficiently. That is my view, and I must read out to you, very important,
Sure.
what Nehru told the CWC while accepting the Kamraj Plan. He said, quote, while all of us should be devoted to service of people, desire for office and power vitiates the desire for service. Please note this. This is a general statement Nehru made for Congress, but it applies to all parties and all ministers. Then, the question, therefore, is always how to lessen the lure of office and power, while at the same time giving such service to the nation as we are capable of. So, therefore, sir, this desire for service gets weakened with long years in power. This is Nehru's assessment. No, is there any nation in the world which can even attempt that? It's simply phenomenal. Now, the thing is, you may ask then, if all this success is there, why do you want change? I would like to see a much stronger and vibrant Bharatiya Janata Party. So, if you want to do that, you have to make some changes and bring in fresh blood into the union cabinet. I don't think I'm asking for too much when I say that.
No, no. I think a lot of people are saying that the real issue is not what happens when Prime Minister Modi is at the helms of affair. I mean, so there is no alternative to Prime Minister Modi. But the larger question is, what happens when Prime Minister Modi decides to vacate the chair? Say, well,
Yes.
I'm done with power politics.
Yes. So how do we handle that? And secondly, I must tell you, among his achievements, can you imagine 126 districts caught in this whole Naxal business for decades together? And Narendra Modi and Amit Shah, hats off to our Home Minister Amit Shah, ruthless pursuit of objectives. What a great achievement! This is one of the greatest achievements.
But
to
let
get
me,
rid
but
of
let me,
Naxal-
but let me,
I mean,
let me,
people did
let
not-
me be the
people
devil's
did not have
advocate here,
rating
Mr.
cards.
Prakash.
Pardon?
Let me be the devil's advocate here. A lot of people would say that in 1980s and 90s there was a lot of a cacophony, sort of a democratic criticism within Bharatiya Janata Party. Today it's a very tightly run ship between
Can
the
you
two.
repeat? Can you repeat?
Yes, I can hear you. So in 1980s, 90s, there were a lot of voices, this and
Yes.
that within the BJP. But today it's a very tightly run ship by only two men. That's the real difference.
You see, the thing is, do we know what, for example, if there is a Bharatiya Janata Party president in some state who has written to the Prime Minister on certain matters, do we know that? The thing is, there is a certain, the inner debate, na? Whatever happens, and in the cabinet and in other meetings, what happens? It is a bit closed door. You and I, the media doesn't get to know. So we are presuming that there are no expression of opinions or voices. I think that is not the whole story. Anyway, the point is that there are phenomenal achievements on many fronts, and that has to be taken into account. And more important, post 2029, the party must prepare for it, and Mr. Modi must pick a set of people who will lead the party in the coming years.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For
Thank
for
you,
such a riveting
Karthikeyan.
conversation on the party and a very a sort of a frank conversation you have had with me on the issues
Yeah,
which
thank
you
you.
think are important for the BJP, and to my viewers, this all have on point. Thank you.